Hello students, now we will go for some properties, or you can say some of the uses of the cross product of two vectors, or that is also called as the vector product, isn't it? So in the last class we discussed about the cross product of two vectors, and in the cross product of two vectors we came to know that the result is a vector, and some of the properties of this cross product we discussed in the last section, in the last video. In this we will go for some of other properties, you can say, or other uses of this cross product of vectors. So first one is that by using this cross product of vectors we will find the area of a parallelogram, and the first we will find area of a parallelogram by using this cross product. So what this says, if two vectors represent two sides of a parallelogram, then the magnitude of cross product of the two vectors then the magnitude of cross product of the two vectors is equal to the area of the parallelogram, that we have to prove. We show that. So this means, let me show you a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. If two vectors represent two adjacent sides, you can say two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So let us consider the two vectors as P and Q, or the two vectors represent two adjacent sides, which one? AB and AD of a parallelogram ABCD. Then in this part we have to prove that the magnitude of cross product two vectors is equal to the area of the parallelogram. Means here we can show mathematically area of the parallelogram is equal to magnitude of cross product of the two vectors P and Q. And here let the angle between these two vectors is given as theta. Angle between the two vectors is given as theta. We will prove this area of the parallelogram equal to this one. So now go for the proof of this one. So to prove this one, we will write, let P and Q are the vectors represent two adjacent sides AB and AD of the parallelogram ABCD. You can write also what I am telling. You can write. I am not writing all these things. Draw a perpendicular from D on AB, which meet at N, and this is your 90. Clear? This is your 90. Now you go for the formula like here, area of the parallelogram. What is the formula for area of the parallelogram? As you already know that area of the parallelogram is equal to, what is the formula? That is the base. Formula is what? base into the perpendicular height. What is this base? Base is your AB, right? I am not considering the vector form. AB multiplied with height is your dn. Height is your dn. As you know, this AB represent the magnitude of the vector P, and height dn we don't know. We will calculate this height dn. So let me do the calculation part. I will prove this one. So let me erase this part. Now go for the height dn. So to find this height dn, use your in the right angle triangle. In the right angle triangle, ADN sin theta is equal to dn divided by AD, isn't it? This implies dn is equal to AD sin theta, and this dn is equal to, what is this AD sin theta? AD is your nothing but the magnitude of q. I am using the magnitude of q vector sin theta. Magnitude of q vector into sin theta. So now we go for this area of the parallelogram. Next, let me next step is your area of the parallelogram is equal to, next is the area of the parallelogram is equal to, what is the formula we got that? That is AB into dn. So what is this AB? AB is what? Magnitude of P, and dn q sin theta. So this represents what? P into q sin theta, two vectors P and Q. Then if you do the cross product, P cross Q, that is equal to PQ sin theta and cap. If you take this mode, this is equal to PQ sin theta. And this is the area of the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram. Isn't it? Area of the parallelogram, that is equal to P cross Q. Clear? So that is the proof part. In the same question, if it is asked to you, as you know, in the parallelogram, in this parallelogram, as you know that, so if this is the parallelogram, if I make a diagonal like this, let this join this one. So if you join this, there are two triangles which are of equal area, and this area of each triangle, it equally divides the parallelogram. Then if I will ask you, what is the area of the triangle ABC? The area of the triangle ABC is equal to half of area of the parallelogram. Then it means half of P cross Q mode. Half of P cross Q mode. So that means we can, from here we can also say that the area of the triangle is equal to half of P cross Q. That is one part. Another one. In the same question, if this is the diagonal, suppose this is the resultant R1. If two vectors P and Q has an angle theta, this is the resultant R1. And another diagonal, let this is your R2. Now I will find the area of the parallelogram in terms of this diagonals. In terms of the diagonals. What that gives me, let me find. So next we will go for the area of the parallelogram in terms of its diagonals. Let me erase this one. Let me go for area of a parallelogram in terms of its diagonals. In terms of its diagonals. What I will do here. So let me show the parallelogram is, this is the parallelogram. Clear? So let this the parallelogram A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D is the parallelogram. And one of the diagonal, so let this is the side P and this is the side Q, that is the side Q. And it is a parallelogram, so this is obviously Q These are parallel and this is obviously P. Then let me draw the two diagonals of the parallelogram. As you know, from parallelogram law of vector addition, the resultant of P and Q is represented by this diagonal. Let this is your R1. The other diagonal DB, this other diagonal, let this is your R2. The other diagonal, let this is your R2. Now I will find the area of the parallelogram in terms of these diagonals R1 and R2. R1 and R2. Is that clear? So this is the diagonals. P and Q are the two sides. Then how I will find the thing is that area of the parallelogram is equal to, according to the formula first I write, half of this R1 cross R2 cross product of these two mode. The product, the magnitude of the cross product of the two diagonals and its half, that is the area of the parallelogram. How will you show this one? Now, according to the parallelogram law of vector addition, parallelogram law of vector addition, what is my R1? If P and Q are the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, represent two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, their resultant is represented by the diagonal passing through that point. So which diagonal passing through that point? R1. So according to this one, R1 is equal to P plus Q. Let this be equation 1. Now we use the second diagonal by considering the triangle ADB. According to the triangle law of vector addition, go to the triangle law of vector addition. What I will do here? First I will consider which vectors are in the same order. Then the sum of these two, vector sum of these two, here Q and R2 are in the same order, ADB. Triangle law of vector addition to the triangle ADB, let me make it clear, ADB, this Q and R2 are in the same order, isn't it? Then Q plus R2, I can write Q plus R2 is equal to Q plus R2, the other side of the triangle is P, represented by P, which is AB, which is opposite order, so this is equal to P. So R2 is equal to P minus Q. So this is equation number 2. The equation number 2. Now you go for, I will show this one, area of the parallelogram equal to half of R1 into R2. Now next we will go for take the cross product of R1 and R2. Taking cross product of R1 and R2. So now next we will go for cross product of R1 and R2. So I can write this as R1 vector to R2, the other diagonal. R1 is equal to your P plus Q, isn't it? P plus Q vector cross R2 is P minus Q vector. Now we do the cross product like this. So how we will do this cross product? So this is equal to P cross P minus Q. This is the property of a cross product. You can make cross product to each term plus Q cross, but the sequence should be same, Q cross P minus Q. So this is equal to, it is distributive, means P distributed to each one, So P cross P minus P cross Q, P cross P minus, plus minus P cross Q. Remember this P cross Q, you should write the sequence. If you write Q cross P, then this should be plus. So P cross Q is not equal to Q cross P. Similarly, this one is q cross p. First you multiply q with p, then plus and minus minus q cross q. So this is your R1 cross R2. Now in this expression, then you go for the cross product of two equal vectors. What is the cross product of two equal vectors? The cross product of two equal vectors is a null vector, or you can represent that as a 0. So in this expression, which one is p cross p is the equal vectors, because their angle is 0, angle between p and p is 0, sine 0, because p cross p is magnitude of p multiplied with magnitude of p into sine of angle between them, that is 0, sine 0 is 0, so this gives you 0. Then this q cross q is also gives you 0. So the rest part is your R1 cross R2 is equal to minus p cross q. So I can write this as q cross p minus of p cross q is equal to q cross p. Where it comes here? A cross b, when you do the commutative law, cross product is not commutative, means a cross b is not equal to b cross a, but if you make it equal to, there should be a minus sign. Similarly, a cross b is equal to minus b cross a. Accordingly, minus of p cross q is equal to q cross p plus q cross p. Isn't it? So this will give me R1 cross R2 is equal to 2 times of q cross p. We can write this one. Take the mode on both sides, considering magnitudes, mode of R1 cross R2 is equal to 2 is only the scalar part, so no need to take this in the mode form. So this is equal to q cross p. What is this q cross p or p cross q? Both are same thing. So I can write this as p cross q. P cross q is equal to half of R1 cross R2. R1 cross R2. So this half of R1 cross R2, p cross q is the area of the parallelogram. Sorry, mode of p cross q is equal to half of mode of, this is mode, not bracket, these are modes. So mode of p cross q is the area of the parallelogram, which is equal to half of mode of cross product of the diagonals. This is the proof. We proved that in terms of diagonals. So we got that the area of the parallelogram is equal to, if the two vectors are represent the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then the area of the parallelogram is equal to what? That magnitude of cross product of the two vectors. Then the area of the parallelogram in terms of the diagonals, it is half of the magnitude of cross product of the two diagonals. And remember how I represent these diagonals. Okay. Then we will go for the area of a triangle. That already you know that should be half of the magnitude of cross product of the two vectors represent two sides of the triangle. Okay. Now go for the area of a triangle by using the cross product. So to do that, let us represent the two vectors P and Q are the sides of the triangle A, B, C. Then what is the area of the triangle in terms of cross product of P and Q? Let me first write what it says, area of the triangle. if two vectors represent two sides of a triangle, then the area of the triangle is half of the magnitude of cross product of two vectors, If two vectors represent two sides of a triangle, then the area of the triangle is half of the magnitude of cross product of the two given vectors. So, to find I will write this as the area of the triangle, obviously ABC triangle, is equal to half of the magnitude of cross product of the two vectors, half of the magnitude of the cross product of two vectors. We will prove this one. We will prove this part. Clear? Let me prove this one. So, to prove this, one, what I will do here, let us draw, to know the area of a triangle. So, this is a perpendicular, obviously, and let the angle between these two is theta. Between the two vectors P and Q is theta. Now, I draw a perpendicular from C upon AB, which meets at N. So, let what I have considered here, let P and Q are the two vectors, represent the sides AB and AC of a triangle ABC. Theta is the angle between the two vectors P and Q. Draw a perpendicular from C upon AB, which meets at N. That I have drawn here. So, as for the formula of a area of a triangle, area of the triangle ABC is equal to, what is the formula? We know that half base into height. So, let me write base is AB into height is your CN. I am considering only the magnitudes, half base into height. That is the area of the triangle. So, you know that this AB is your vector, magnitude of the vector P, you can say, but what is this height? I will find out. So, in the right angle triangle, ACN sin theta is equal to CN by AC. So, CN is equal to AC sin theta. So, CN is equal to, what is this AC? Magnitude of Q vector sin theta. So, now you put here area of the triangle. Now, go for the area of the triangle. Area of the triangle ABC is equal to half AB. What is this AB? AB is the magnitude of P. What is CN? Magnitude means magnitude of Q vector sin theta. So, these are all our magnitudes part. So, this is equal to half, what is PQ sin theta? That is the mode of magnitude of P cross Q. Because P cross Q is equal to PQ sin theta n cap. When you take mode, you will get PQ sin theta. So, this is the area of the triangle ABC, that is equal to half of P cross Q. Clear? So, students, this is the applications of the cross product of the vectors. Similarly, you can go for here another property. You can say that the cross product of the vectors, does not change its sign under reflection. That is also one of the property. Means the cross product of the vectors does not change its sign under reflection. Let me understand this thing. The cross product of two vectors, cross product of two vectors does not change its sign, does not change its sign. Cross product two vectors does not change its sign under reflection. What is this reflection? As you stand in front of the mirror, you get your image, that is because of reflection. Light of reflection of light, you are getting your image. Similarly, under this reflection, what you will find, suppose a vector is given A cross B, does not change its sign means, as you know, if you will do reflection, like you are standing in the mirror, similarly if you A and B are standing in the mirror, its reflection means A changes to minus A. Its reflection means A is in this direction. If you see in the reflection, A will be like this, its opposite, negative vector. So that is minus A. B also changes to minus B. So minus A minus B, minus to minus plus, so this is, you can write plus of A cross B. So under this reflection, it does not change its sign. Clear? Then another formula. We will not go for the derivation, all these things, that is not in our council syllabus, but you remember this formula, that the triple vector products means three vectors and we are doing the cross product or dot product or combination of these three. So this triple vector products may be scalar triple product, this may be scalar triple product, means there are three vectors are involved, then we can say that scalar triple product, or this may be vector triple product, For this scalar triple product means we will write the scalar, suppose A and B and C are the vectors. If they are written like this, A dot B cross C, this will be called as the scalar triple product of the three vectors. Okay, so means this will give you what? Here you see B cross C is what? B cross C means this is a new vector. Obviously this is a new vector. So B cross C is a vector. That vector doing the dot product with A. So the result will be what? Scalar. So when you do the scalar triple product means why it is called? Because here the result is a scalar. The result is a scalar quantity. Is that clear? So this is the scalar product. And remember one thing, the scalar triple product means if A, B, C are the sides of a parallelepiped. Parallelepiped means in 3 dimensions, a parallelogram in 3 dimensions. Means there are 3 coordinates x, y and z in space. Means there are 3-dimensional figure of a parallelogram, that is the parallelepiped. Then this triple product, if A, B, C are the 3 sides of the parallelepiped, then the area of the parallelepiped is equal to A dot B cross C. So here this scalar triple product gives you area of a parallelepiped. Area of a parallelepiped is equal to A dot B cross C. A dot B cross C. Remember? Okay. So in this part, area of a parallelepiped means if the 3 vectors are represented at the 3 sides of a parallelepiped, right? Parallelepiped. Then this area of the parallelepiped is here, A dot B cross C. But the most important thing what is here, if A, B, C are coplanar, if A, B, C are coplanar, if the three vectors are coplanar, if all the three vectors, when you go for the area of a parallelepiped, obviously they are not in the same plane because it is a three-dimensional figure, two vectors in one plane, the other one is in the other plane. X and y axis, these are along x and y, this will be along z axis for a parallelepiped because it is a three dimension. But remember one thing, for this, if A, B, C are coplanar, from here another property you can say, A, B, C are coplanar. If A, B, C are coplanar. What is coplanar? All are in the same plane. If A, B, C are coplanar, then remember always A dot B cross C will be what? 0. The result will be 0. Result is a scalar, scalar is a 0. Right? The scalar or result is a 0. How? Now you see here. When you do B cross C, now let us consider if ABC are coplanar, means A is here, B is here, and also C is here. All are in the same plane. When you do B cross C, what you will get B cross C? Use the right hand thumb rule, everything. So when you do this B cross C, call your fingers from B to C. If this is the angle from B to C, now call the fingers. So this will give you a resultant of B cross C. What is that resultant? It is perpendicular to this plane, on this plane and perpendicular inward. It is perpendicular to this plane. Is that clear? So the result of B cross C is perpendicular to this plane means A is also the same plane. So the result is also perpendicular to A. Then as you know, the dot product of two perpendicular vectors is what? 0, because A dot D, suppose B cross C give you D, another vector, then A dot D, the angle between A and D is 90. So A D 90 means A dot D is equal to AD cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So ABC are coplanar, then A dot B cross C is equal to 0. This is a proof generally can be asked to you. Prove that the three vectors are coplanar. Then what you will do? Take the cross product of any two, then do the dot product with the other vector. Then the result is 0, then they are coplanar. Okay. If two of the vectors be equal, if any two of the vectors are equal here, if any two vectors are equal, then what will be the scalar product result gives you? What will the scalar product result give you? Two of the vectors are equal. Suppose this is A and this is suppose B. Two are equal. And A. Then you do A cross B, you will get a result C perpendicular to this one. A cross B is a perpendicular to this one. This perpendicular, it is also perpendicular to A. So perpendicular dot product to perpendicular vector 0. So means in the scalar triple product, if two vectors are equal, then the result is 0. If two of the vectors be parallel, if two of the vectors in this A, B cross C, here any two vectors are parallel, then also the result is 0. Also the result is 0. So these are about the scalar triple product. So which one is scalar triple product and try to remember. Then go for the vector triple product. And vector triple product means we will write this as A cross B cross C. This is called as the vector triple product. Cross product B cross C, it is making the cross product with A. Instead of dot symbol, here I am putting a cross symbol. And remember, the formula is like this: B, the vector B, A dot C. The sequence you remember: B, A dot C, right? B, A dot C minus C, A dot B. This gives you the vector triple product. Remember the formula. Derivation part is not required here for our council, but this is the formula sometimes you can use this formula. A cross B cross C, that is called vector triple product, that is equal to B, first B, A dot C, this is a scalar. A dot C means dot product is scalar. So this scalar multiplied with the vector, it is a vector. But there is no change, you can write B here or B here. B A dot C minus C A dot B, this is a scalar multiplied with the vector. So vector minus vector is a vector. So the result is a vector. So the result is a vector. Okay. Then these are the some of the properties, you can say that, or some of the uses of the cross product of vectors. Then we will go for the most important thing, that is your Lami's theorem. Let me erase this one. We will discuss Lami's theorem. Now come to the another topic, that is your Lami's theorem, which you can say by using this cross product we will find the statement what this Lami's theorem state. According to this theorem, let me write the statement: if a particle is under the simultaneous, simultaneous action of three vectors. Simultaneous action of three vectors. These vectors may be three forces, you can think that the vectors may be three forces. And if a particle under the simultaneous means at a time the three vectors acting on the particle or the body, then under the action of the three forces, and the particle is in equilibrium under this action, is in equilibrium. If a particle under the simultaneous action of three vectors is in equilibrium, the particle is in equilibrium, then each vector, remember this thing, then each vector is, or you can write each vector has a constant ratio with the sign of angle between the other two vectors, with the sign of angle between the other two vectors. Is that clear? So now what it says, other two vectors. Now let me show this one, how we can show this one. Let us consider the three vectors like this. Let P is a vector, Q is another vector, and R is another vector acting on the particle at O. Is that clear? And under the simultaneous action of three vectors and the particle is in equilibrium, it means if consider these are the three forces, the particle is in equilibrium means the condition is P plus Q plus R vectors or forces should be equal to vector sum is equal to 0. That already you know that condition of equilibrium. This is the condition of equilibrium. So the particle is in equilibrium. Then each vector has a constant ratio. Each vector, P is the vector, suppose one of the vector P has a constant ratio with the sign of angle between the other two vectors. Means constant ratio means P by sign of, what is the angle between other two? Let us show the angles are. Let me show the angles like that. Let with this alpha, let the angle between R and Q is alpha. P and Q, let the angle between P and Q is gamma, and P and R, let this angle is beta. You can take theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, any angle. So I have considered this alpha, beta, gamma. For convenience, I have considered this alpha, beta, gamma. So P by, what this says, the ratio of has a constant ratio with the sign of angle between the other two vectors. If I consider P, the other vectors are Q and R, sign of this angle means that is sin alpha. This is a constant. Similarly, this is a constant, then one can consider if P is, I will consider Q also, one can consider Q. It is not given, or specifically we will consider P only, or we will consider Q only. If you consider each vector, each any one vector has a constant ratio with the sign of angle between the other two vectors. If I consider Q, the other is P and R, the angle is beta, so this is sin beta. This is equal to R by sin gamma, and that is equal to constant. That is equal to constant. So we can write this also we can write this statement can be written as P is directly proportional to sine of angle between the other two vectors. Similarly, Q is directly proportional to sine beta. So that Q by sine beta is a constant. Similarly, R is directly proportional to sine gamma. This is also Lami's theorem. You can state this Lami's theorem as like this. You can state that if a particle under the simultaneous action of three vectors is in equilibrium, then each vector is directly proportional to the sine of angle between the other two vectors, each vector. So accordingly, if you do that, P if you make equal to, that is a constant of proportionality. So when you do equal to, that is a constant of proportionality. So P by sin alpha is K, Q by sin beta is a K, R by sin gamma is a K. So that is a proof. That is the Lami's theorem. So let me prove this Lami's theorem. But this Lami's theorem can also be shown in a triangle form. This can be, the three vectors can be shown as the three sides of a triangle also, right? Let me prove this one. Now come to the proof part. So to prove this one, proof of this Lami's theorem, as I told that I can show that in a triangle form, in a triangle. If the three vectors are shown as the three sides of a triangle, how I will show like this? So let this is the P vector, P. Let this is the Q vector. Angle between P and Q is gamma, so obviously this is the angle gamma. Let this is the Q vector, and this is the R vector. R vector, and the angle between P and R, I can show this angle, the angle between P and R is, so this angle first show me, this angle. What is the angle between Q and R? Q and R is alpha, Q and R is alpha, and this angle, let me erase the part, this angle is angle between P and R. P and R is beta. Angle P and R is beta. How you are showing this angle you getting? By parallel shifting. If you shift R here, this tail of R will meet with the tail of P. So this is the angle between P and R. So tail to tail, that is beta. So alpha, beta, gamma. This also the same form of Lami's theorem. Now we prove this one. As the particle is in equilibrium, let me write, as the particle is in equilibrium, then P plus Q plus R vector sum is equal to 0, or I can write P plus Q, vector P plus Q is equal to vector minus R. Let this is equation 1. Taking cross product, because we are using the cross product part here, taking cross product of P on both sides of equation 1. Taking cross product of P on both sides of equation 1. So doing cross product, remember what I am doing. If I putting this P left of LHS, then P plus Q, yes. Then I have to do this cross product to the RHS, and this should be on the left of RHS because this is RHS, in left of LHS, because cross product is not commutative. So minus P cross R, you can take minus P cross R, or P of minus R, so minus will come here. So I can write this as P cross P plus distributive, P cross P plus P cross Q. The cross product distributive over addition of vectors or subtraction of vectors, P cross Q, is equal to, can we write R cross P minus of P cross R, R cross P. Then what is P cross P? The cross product equal vectors, P cross Q is 0. So we got P cross Q is equal to R cross P. Consider the magnitude. Considering magnitudes, what you will get? Magnitudes of P cross Q is equal to magnitudes of R cross P. Then what is the magnitude of P cross Q? Magnitude of P cross Q means P Q sine. What is the angle between P and Q? P and Q angle is what? Gamma is equal to R P sine. What is the angle between R and P? Beta, sine beta. So now you cancel this, P and P can cancel. I can write this as Q by sine beta is equal to Q by sine beta is equal to R by sine gamma. Clear? So this is equation number 2. Is that clear to you? So this is equation number 2. Similarly, the other part I will do that. Taking cross product of Q on both sides of equation 1. Taking cross product of Q on both sides of equation 1. Do the same procedure. Let me keep this equation 2. Okay, so let me write this equation 2. This figure is to understand purpose I have drawn this one. Let me write here Q by sine beta, I got this equation 2 is equal to R by sine gamma. This is my equation number 2. Then I will go for the same procedure. Taking the cross product of Q on both sides of equation 1. So here I will do here cross Q and this is Q. Then if you do the cross product, Q cross P plus Q cross Q is equal to, what I can write here? Minus of R Q cross R, I can write R cross Q. And the cross product of two equal vectors is 0, so this is by 0. So Q cross P is equal to R cross Q. Now take the modulus. Next part you write by yourself. Take the modulus, magnitude. So what is this magnitude? QP sine. What is the angle between Q and P? Gamma. QP sine gamma is equal to RQ. What is the angle between R and Q? Alpha, sine alpha. So if you write Q and Q get cancelled, P by sine alpha is equal to R by sine gamma, equation number 3. Clear? So we got this equation 2 and 3. Now comparing equation 2 and 3, compare this equation 2 and 3. There is 2, there is 3. Comparing equations 2 and 3. P by sine alpha is equal to, what is this? R by sine beta, and this R by sine beta, right? So R by sine gamma P by sin alpha equal to R by sin gamma, and this R by sin gamma according to equation 2, it is Q by sin beta. It is Q by sin beta. So we can write this as P by sin alpha is equal to Q by sin beta is equal to R by sin gamma. So this is the proof of Lami's theorem. This is the proof of Lami's theorem. Now, these are the uses, or you can say the applications of cross product of two vectors, and we discussed about the cross product of more than two vectors, or the triple product of vectors, that may be a scalar triple product or vector triple product, and some of the properties of this cross product. And this is the all about the topic scalars and vectors in our, as per our syllabus. This is the total topic we covered from scalars and vectors. Go through these videos and understand what is given here and how the derivations are done. And remember, while doing the vector calculation, you should remember to use the vector notation clearly. Number 2, when you are doing the cross product, you should be more cautious because it is not commutative. You cannot put here and there the cross symbol. Okay. So go through this video, students. You will get a clear idea and clear picture about this vectors and its analysis. Okay. Thank you, students.